Shit. No. God damn mouse.
I don't know if that was a computer mouse or a...
No, it was my physical computer mouse, but it was I realized I was on the wrong page, and may have revealed spoilers. So.
We have seen nothing. The picture of the mountain and the griffin and the city remains unchanged, at least from my point of view.
Sometimes John is kind enough to check my stream to make sure that it is working.
Oh. John will never tell.
John is good like that. It's the best part of running for DMs.
John is neither confirming nor denying. I should get my tap dice out.
What? Are you talking to me?
We were talking about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
We were talking about how awesome you are.
Yeah, nobody does that.
No, we actually were.
Actually, we were, genuinely.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my god, that was fantastic. Yeah, no.
We were legit having a conversation about the fact that you were the nice one.
Oh. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know when people are...
Or at least, I don't know if we were saying the nice one, but it was certainly the one with the one with integrity.
Yeah. No, because I
don't disagree that you're nice.
I accidentally hit the start stream button too soon, and I was on my hidden super secret map that I'm trying to keep as a special treat for you all. So it was revealed, and I was like, oh shit, and then my mouse wouldn't react in time for me to change the map over very quickly. And I was like, oh no. And everyone's like, it's fine, we're not watching the stream. I was like, yeah, but John usually checks the stream for me to make sure it's working.
Oh, yeah. Good thing I didn't check it. But I will check it now as long as you have it switched.
It's switched, yeah.
Okay. I'll do that then.
I think everything's fine.
Yep, you're perfect.
Alright. So, who wants to talk about what happened last game?
I guess we can do that. Tab and Macklin and Assume and Corin and Ambassador Mac the Goose were chilling in a room having recently had a conversation when Ilya and Talia and some other random paladins arrived. Talia had dyed her hair red and it was curly at some point. I think before arrival probably before Drazen pulled them out. Red dyed curly hair on Talia, which got real awkward when Grace showed up, also a redhead, a few minutes later. That may have gotten awkward anyway, but probably it seems that the dueling redhead situation probably didn't help. Also, Grace showed up because how did Assume notify her? I don't know how that happened. But Ilya wanted to leave. So Ilya had grabbed Talia and some paladins and wanted to peace out of Rex and Trim, go back to the Emerald Enclave. She couldn't sleep, wanted to get out of here. So somehow Assume notified Grace to teleport in. I guess he must have either spells or some form of long haul communication. We didn't ask. Grace did, on arrival, give us a potion of rejuvenation as a special gift for Jazen, and then the Whitestone contingent, the entire Whitestone contingent, Assume stayed behind, Corin stayed behind, but everyone else who Jazen had rescued from Whitestone pieced out to the Emerald Plains. We wondered how Assume was going to get Tybalt out now, but apparently Grace can do the little teleporting back and forth trick several times in a day, so that's still fine. We tried to find Jazen, or we tried to ask for Jazen so we could give him this cool potion, but he didn't respond, so we sat down to read a book. Jazen was napping. Macklin went in search of Tybalt. V continued poking around, gave some side eye to all the new guards who are just very generic humans, very good military precision. They're just really good guards. It's fine. Then he settled into one of many libraries in this house, apparently, to have tea. Cure had gone outside to blow off steam. I believe there was a training dummy involved. She was beating on a training dummy or something like that. Came back in, went in search of Secret Assume, and found him still in his guest room with we were hanging out there. Corin was and Ambassador Mac the Goose were hanging out there. She told Assume that Tybalt had decided to leave us. Apparently, there was a conversation that didn't go super well, and he teleported out rather abruptly. Assume told her that Ilya had also left. People come and go so quickly here. Meanwhile, Macklin was looking around and discovered that Tybalt had left the conversation, but had not, in fact, left the manor. He was instead dramatically moping with Ilya. Not Ilya. Ilya's not even a name. I just made that up in my head. Dramatically moping with Almika, with a cold cloth over his eyes. Macklin started to back away to give them space, but just about that point, we ran up and were like, Macklin, Tybalt's gone. And Macklin disagreed with us, and we took a look in. We're like, oh, you're right, he's not gone. Sort of high level discussed what we had overheard, and then we went to sit outside Jozin's room and wait for him to get up so we could complete our potion delivery mission. Macklin talked to Cure and Assume, told them that Tybalt is still around and seems to be happy hanging out with Almika. There was a discussion, things that Cure had learned about Tybalt being reluctant to leave Rexencham without Bren and Astrid, and is worried about what happens to their families, or at least Bren's family. I seem to remember that we weren't actually that worried about Astrid's family because she may not give a fuck, but Bren definitely does. Am I remembering that correctly?
Sounds about right.
Okay. Assumes like we can't actually kidnap all of Trent's apprentices, even if they all want to go. And Macklin cleverly pointed out that if the Cobalt Soul can in fact take Trent down, if we get him the book that we've offered to that they've asked for, then the Cerberus Assembly should turn on him, and that should protect his apprentices and their families without us having to kidnap them all. Macklin and Cure talked for some more. Then Cure went to her room, and Macklin could tell that poor Corin is just trying to get a nap, and it's not working so well because people keep bursting in. And then had a conversation with Assume about all the work that Ilya has done to make sure that Rexencham doesn't know about Vecna. Yeah, all that stuff about how we apparently thought this was Trent's doing. Sounds like not Trent's doing. So that's fine. And then Macklin headed off to negotiate with Tybalt about defecting by way of getting a pep talk / advice from us. Jozin emerged from his room, we handed over the potion, and went in search of Macklin. There was more conversation about Tybalt and how to talk to him, and also whether to talk to Cure. And nope, this is when we gave our good advice about how to talk to Tybalt, and then we went off to lay down with a cold cloth over our eyes to decide if we liked that or not, since Tybalt seems to be very into it. Macklin and Jozin checked on Kior and had a conversation with her about her conversation with Tybalt and her state of mind, ? She mentioned that Tybalt expects us to kill Trent, so that's totally fine. And then Jozin and Macklin took off to Almika's room to try to talk the baby wizard into defecting. And it went well in the end. There was a bit in the middle where things were starting to get a little tense, and then Macklin pivoted like a rock star and just kind of broke Tybalt in half by asking him what he wanted and being nice to him. And it was very, very touching and moving. And I believe Jozin cried a tear, at least metaphorically, if not literally. And then they went back to check on Cure? I don't know. Yeah, there was more debriefing about how things had gone and what people are good at and not good at, and what is the plan for tonight. And then Macklin came and Macklin did everyone's makeup, I think is what happened next. Somewhere in there, Cure got a different crown that looks like a halo. Also had a note from Ilya explaining why she had taken off. Edgar was told to get ready and be a good griffin, and specifically a good carriage-pulling griffin, and not a good carriage standing on top of griffin. And then, yeah, we all got eyeshadow. We left Ambassador Mac the Goose with Corin, and all got into the carriage and headed off to the party, where we are to steal Trent's journal for the Cobalt Soul. We don't know where he keeps it. We had meant to ask Tybalt at some point, but then things got complicated. So we didn't do that. That's probably fine.
Okay. Does anyone want to do anything in the carriage on the way?
I guess we'll ask quickly. Does anyone know where Trent keeps his journal?
No.
We'll find it. That's all I wanted to do.
All right.
Unless anyone has any bright ideas about how to find that out. But
We don't have contact with anyone back at the embassy, do we?
He asked for contact venom?
contact with anyone back at the embassy, I think. You hear that
Yeah.
right?
I mean, we could try to find you some if you like, your but
Oh, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, I guess. We'll just have to figure it out.
Cap nods cheerfully.
was it find object you can cast cure or find creature?
Both. Although I need to be familiar with them in order to cast it. I don't have locate creature prepared today, but if I can get a look at the object, then I'll be able to find it again.
Because, I mean, just as a backup plan, no one said we had to steal it tonight.
Interesting thought.
Are you suggesting we just stay in Rexentrim longer?
No, I'm suggesting that we might come back in the aftermath when all the servants are cleaning up and get it after we've officially left.
Cap is like head tilt one way, head tilt the other way, like a dog listening to a far off sound. Did Cure say she can or cannot cast that tonight? Like, does it
She can't cast locate creature, but she does have locate object prepared.
okay, cool.
All right.
If we can find it during the party, that's the best. If we can find it fast, but that's good to know if we can't. It's a backup plan. Now we have 2 plans. Are you happy, Macklin?
That's good enough for me.
Only Tab would ask Macklin if he's happy with the fact that they have 2 plans. I feel like there's a little stank on it as well.
We're trying to no tap that. Well, I mean that was. I don't know how it came. My voice acting question mark came across. Tab was trying to be absolutely their intent was to be absolutely sincere. They cannot confirm or deny if there was some accidental stink.
I assumed it was incidental about the word plan in general.
Yeah, seems fair.
Oh, Roll20, don't do this to me. Roll20 is getting a little mad with the amount of just content in our game.
Yeah, I think I might have to call cannons at some point.
Well,
Shoo.
you arrive at the party. A large manor stands in front of you. Well decorated and well lit. But in beautiful red and gold.
There. Mine was blurry for a second there, but if I'm
Yeah, like I said, it takes a minute.
It's very beautiful, though.
Large.
Fucking huge.
This is fine.
so many areas to cover.
Just look at this mansion. Red and golden. Well, it reminds me of a house of cards.
A house of cards.
That's good.
Why is
Red
that?
cards specifically.
Do you mean, why does it remind him of a house of cards?
Yeah, that's what she does.
Primarily the color scheme, the red, the black, the white. Oh, I see people unhappy.
Oh, don't worry, I'm just moving tokens onto the map.
It's a little bit ostentatious.
As your carriage arrives to the front,
I thought that was the whole point, Kior.
Then they've succeeded.
You just pulled up in a carriage drawn by a griffin.
We just have
That's classy. This is ostentatious.
I guess that comes from perspective. When has it ever been classy to show up with a griffin tailoring your cart?
Because everyone would be expecting a horse.
But that doesn't make it classy.
Don't tell Edgar that, he might get angry.
I'm not saying that Edgar is not a fine griffin, as I personally believe that he is. I'm just saying that I don't think that qualifies as classy.
Kiora shrugs a bit and just kind of mentally checks in on Edgar to make sure he's doing okay.
he's feeling bitey. As stable hands approach, something about him he doesn't like. He would like he's asking you permission to bite them.
No, do not bite the handlers yet. But maybe later.
As your carriage doors are opened, valets on either side to help you out.
I'll accept assistance as I step out, and as I do, I'll kind of lean over to the valet. Do make sure there are no horses kept near the griffin. He's feeling nippy.
One of them nods. Okay, sure. And carefully, looks at his hands, takes his left hand to reach out for the bridle to lead him, the griffin away. As if deciding which hand he'd rather lose.
Smart man.
He knows what's up.
We will allow ourselves to be helped out of the carriage, in form only. We'll put our hand wherever it was, but I don't know
where
if
it's
it would be
supposed to
in my
go.
hands.
Yeah.
But I'm applying no pressure to it. as we hop down.
Easy enough.
Oh, at some point during the ride, I would have passed Macklin my bag of holding.
Did I ever give it back to you?
Did you have it?
Yeah, I had to take it with me.
Oh yeah.
When I
Oh, then
teleported,
Josen has it.
he never asked for it back.
I can't remember what I did with it. I usually always assume she has it on her.
Josen has it around his belt.
We'll say that happened, because chances are she would have packed some stuff into it before they left.
Fine. Ruin Josen's fun.
He still gets to hold on to it.
Josen makes sure to stay on Kior's left shoulder with his hand pressed against or on Kior's shoulder with his head down, playing the blind guy again.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might be better off holding on to V's shoulder.
Keep it down, Kior.
I don't
I
think
think-
they're going to have a good impression of me if I walk in with someone holding onto my shoulder.
You're escorting your father, Kior.
Oh, I can totally see the similarity.
I'm fairly certain they know who I am, and they wouldn't be fooled by me bringing my father here.
Shall we make a grand introduction or just walk in?
Just walk in. Yeah.
Allow them to announce us. They're going to anyway.
I'll lead the way toward the front doors.
Yeah, easy enough.
Invitations at the ready.
Yes, and the invitations are taken and inspected. But with those forgery rolls last game, no problem for you.
Yes.
I think we have one more than we actually needed.
Yeah, we had forged a bunch of extras for
Just about
people we were
10
going to
and
bring
the-
with,
Fair.
and then we didn't bring any extra people with. So delightful.
Keeping souvenirs.
Cool. So we make it inside.
Sure. So you enter from this side of the room. Hold on, let me ping it. I don't know why I'm holding down control like I'm on push to talk, but here we go.
Okay.
Enter this side of the room.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. So the outside. So the outside by those
Yeah.
cool trees is the outside. Awesome. Put ourselves on the map.
I don't quite understand how this map is set up with no entrances to the main hall, but yeah, sure. As you walk down a grand staircase and you are announced, the Queen Consort of Taldore. All of your titles are read off as you come down the stairs, as is proper and right. Several people look. Several people are whispering to each other. One or two familiar faces in the crowd.
Can you ping if there's anyone in here who we have met during Rex and Trim?
Yeah. That person.
Oh, that's the philosopher.
Yep. And that one.
Was
Actually,
that the farmer?
sorry, not that guy. This guy is the farmer here.
Okay.
He's so
on that side.
rugged.
He is.
The Belmont?
Mm-hmm. The Belmont. Something like that.
Oh boy. Didn't realize we had vampire slayers there.
No
You never
sign
know where you're gonna
of.
need a good vampire slayer.
I mean,
Is this
we
true?
think we left Tybalt, but no sign of Tybalt, I assume, and no sign of Bren so
You
far.
can roll perception checks if you'd like.
Sure.
I would definitely like to see what I see.
I would also like to see if I can identify Trent, although, well, it's a 19.
I'm pretty sure this guy is Trent, sitting in the
Yeah.
high seat
Okay.
here. One of his chairs is conspicuously empty, even. No sign of Tybalt.
And no sign of Bren.
No sign of Bren.
And does the person who is at his right hand here, is that a young woman of approximately Tybalt and Bren age?
Yes.
Or is that an older
Yep.
person? Okay.
Is the marquee here?
You do not see the mark. No, there he is. Sorry, I did put him on the map. He's right here.
Okay.
Okay, delightful.
Music plays lightly in the background. It looks like people are still milling about. The dance floor remains empty at the moment.
And there are certainly these hallways off to the sides. Are there guard? We're not going to peace out down in a hallway. Oh, wait, are those closed doors leading out?
They are open doors. They're archways.
Okay.
I know
And
that
is
they're
there-
on the map. It doesn't quite match up, but
Okay, and one more question, then I'll stop asking questions for the time being. Do the doors out of the ballroom appear to be guarded or anything like that, or do they just there to be like open, or, does there seem to be signals that the guests are expected to stay in this one room, or does that not appear to be the case?
there are guards around, but they're not guards posted at the door like stay here. It looks like it's
Okay.
probably free to mill about to an extent.
Okay.
I'm going to take a deep breath and start down and make my way to present myself before the host of the evening with my hand resting on the pommel of my sword that is nice and tied to the hilt, tied to the scabbard, with a Macklin knot.
With a Macklin knot.
A Macklin knot. That's gonna be a thing.
It looks ridiculously and complex and ornate, but really I can undo it by just tugging on a string.
Mm-hmm. So you're making your way across the room here?
Yep.
Sweet.
To step up before Trent and give a appropriate bow of my head.
He steps off the dais, stands and steps off the dais, kind of leaning on a cane next to him, taking your hand, just kind of leaning his head over it, giving it a proper kiss. We have not had much word from Taldori. I was interested to hear that we have such high-ranking guests.
The world changes a little bit every day. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master Igathon.
You as well, my lady.
I pause and kind of narrow my eyes slightly at him. I give him a moment to correct himself.
He smiles. Apologies. Your Grace.
I incline my head politely back in bed. You have quite the exquisite manner here.
I do. Gift from Emperor Dwendal. One of the old palaces.
It is very handsomely furnished. My compliments.
Appreciated. It came more or less pre-done. All I had to do is take down the damn paintings.
Adjust the volume real quick. I see. And I'll look around the room, just kind of gazing at the decorations. How long have you resided here?
Probably about 30 years.
Quite a fixture in the city, I see.
Tab, this room looks really familiar. You've seen this
Yeah.
room before. You know this room.
Wait, we know this room, or the boat knows this room?
Both of you. You saw this room before.
Oh! Oh, that's fine. Fabulous. Let me. Yeah, Tab's hanging in there, but it's definitely. Is there's just one person next to us? Are there other people here who are not like token worthy? Like, is there a crowd that I could enough crowd that I could in theory slip away?
Sure,
Or
like
would that
there's
be
some
highly
crowds like
noticeable?
around the edges, near the windows, like yeah, the room is more full than I could put tokens in for, but
Okay. Can we try to stealth away and try to get the voices in our head under control?
yeah, sure. One's probably real mad.
Okay. It's a 29.
Yeah.
So we'll. Is V actually by the door?
I'm back here.
Okay. We're gonna just slip through the crowd and find our way back to V, and we'll think about what we want to do next.
And may I ask after your companion to occupy such an august place at your side tonight? And I'll look over at the woman.
One of my apprentices, Astrid. A promising student of illusion.
Astrid. That's a lovely name. And I'll incline my head towards her. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance as well.
She gives you a polite nod. Cure, are you masked or unmasked?
Unmasked. I
Unmasked,
would
okay.
have. Let's see, I'm wearing my mantle. I think, honestly, just for decorative flourish, I might have had the mask kind of like pinned over one shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's definitely like watching you. She seems there's a little edge of confusion on her face as she's looking at you and then looking at Trent. I forgot. Yeah, she is wearing killer eyeliner. Don't cover that with a mask.
Yeah, very much decked out as the Queen's consort with very strong Raven Queen iconography. I believe I noted the Marquis on the way in. I owe a deal of thanks to him for informing us of the event and arranging our introduction to you.
Of course.
I'll give Trent a little head bob again.
He inclines his head slowly. It seems we all owe a debt of gratitude to the Marquis.
The night is young, and I'm sure we will have words further in the evening. If you'll excuse me, Master Ikathon.
Of course. Enjoy.
I'll take a step back and turn to head over to the marquee and reflect on Ikathon and Astrid. Out of curiosity, is this the kind of party where they have where they instruct you where to sit, or?
No. It is open seating and past hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
I would need to notice the chairs.
There's also more chairs than there are guests. Or, sorry, fewer chairs than there are guests. So the intent is most people would be standing, milling about, dancing, things like that.
Yeah, I'm just heading over to say hello to the marquis and see if the seats at his table are taken, or if he would mind if my party and I were to sit with him.
He grins at you. Of course, come sit, please. I am happy to have you at my table.
I deeply appreciate it, thank you. I believe I will rest a bit before I make my rounds.
Fair enough. It always takes a little bit out of you to see Master Ikathon.
And I'm going to take a seat and kind of look out across the room, kind of take a few moments to temperature check the room now that I have an opportunity to do so without being on display on the grand staircase.
Sure. Easy enough. Insight for a general vibe check.
I'll make idle small talk with the marquis.
Jozin's actually going to take this opportunity to sit down and listen in on the conversations around him. He's trying to get a general idea of, I want to say gossip, but political gossip that's going around.
Sure.
Anything that involves Trent himself. So that way, Jocelyn can get a gauge on the head of the party.
Mm-hmm.
Insight or perception?
Perception.
Which involves hearing. Is 20... 24.
So the table directly behind you is talking about the north, especially the far north, and some of the magical disruption that happens around that particular area. Let me just get the name of it.
Islecross?
Islecross, yes, thank you. Specifically Islecross. The magical disruption, and how difficult it can be to travel that far north. No, none of them. That is the elven philosopher you spoke with the night before. Whose names are lost in my notes. Yes, Teriel.
Is that all they're really talking about?
Immediately to you, everyone else is kind of across on far sides of the room. You don't hear a lot about people. A little bit here and there about her grace, about they didn't expect her to be blue. It's very inane. Nothing groundbreaking.
Okay.
Didn't think we were going to do this early, but since as long as we are writing a stealth check and have remembered that we have a guide who's real mad, can we ask the poet if he remembers anywhere? We would like to get out of this room and into, like, honestly, like a broom closet or someplace that, like, we would like a good hiding spot that is unlikely to be frequented. We are thinking and would explain to him that if we sit down at a table and make polite conversation, then someone's going to remember we know we're here. I mean, people obviously know we're here. We walked in, but we would like to get out of here quickly so that a minimum number of people likely to remember us later when we need to be not here and looking for things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, does the poet know of like a good secret hiding place that we could get to?
He points out the tapestry here has a secret door behind it that leads into the hallway.
Cool. Can we try to do that? Go there.
Yeah, roll stealth.
Haha. That's gonna be good. 34.
We would like to go with Tab if Tab is opening secret there.
Yeah, we would like, we're standing right next to V. We would tug V's sleeve and try to get him to come along with us.
Okay, just wasn't sure if I'd have noticed you with the stealth check.
Yep. V, roll a stealth check.
It's a 22.
Slightly less gracefully. A little bit more of a flap of the tapestry. What are you making for?
Sorry to split the party instantly on arriving at this party.
No, it makes sense.
But here we go.
Whatever gets the job done.
So Heather, I don't know what you want to follow, but we're happy to.
Yeah.
To do whatever.
You're in a hallway.
Okay. And it leads, like, this is hallway?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's also these, I mean, our main plan, and we will, I think, raise our bracelet and whisper into our bracelet, basically just describing the same, mostly for V's benefit, but also for everyone else's benefit. We are looking for some place to be so that we won't be missed later when we will look for other things. And then we will proceed. There don't seem to be any doors off this hallway, so we will proceed down the hallway. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
Yep. It leads. There's a nice courtyard to your left. Beautiful trees. A fountain in it. The trees are actually lit with dancing lights.
Oh, that's lovely. I think we're just gonna have to make our way around because we would like to get into.
The poet pins that there is in fact a secret hallway or a secret entrance underneath the fountain.
Oh! Do we have to go into
This
it?
night is getting more and more interesting.
Yes, you have to go into the fountain.
We certainly can't go back to the ball then. V, are you ready to go for a swim? A very short swim.
Like, you don't have to go into it now, it's just that he is noting that that is in fact a secret passage to deep inside of the palace.
Maybe later. All right. Does he
Okay.
know? Does he know where? Like, I mean, he doesn't know where it goes relative to the current layout of the palace, certainly. But does he like what it led to?
Led to a trading hall that
Oh, that seems fine.
several of the Rexentrum family used to keep their martial abilities
Okay.
sharp.
We'll tuck here, peek around the corner to see if anyone is coming.
People are milling about, but not anyone that's going to seem like it's going to pay you a lot of attention.
Okay. We certainly can't walk past the ball. I guess we'll just peek into this first room.
Appears to be a small study.
All right.
Not well appointed. Seems to be okay.
I guess we'll glance back over our shoulder at V. Do you think we should hide first, or do you think we should just keep looking until we can find something interesting?
V is kind of like glancing around to make sure they're not like in a servants' corridor, that they're like going to be run down by somebody trying to deliver to this party.
That's a good point. We suppose we're in it now. Is this a staircase down?
Staircase up.
Oh, okay. I'm trying not to look at any of these other rooms. I've got my hand over the screen now. It's fine. I think we'll go up. We're probably not supposed to go up, so we definitely think we're supposed to go up.
I mean, it makes sense, but
Does the poet remember where like the master bedroom and things like that were?
There were several. They're
everywhere.
They're kind of like it was a palace. There's no one master bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Almost every bedroom is a master bedroom.
That's fair. And the thing under the fountain of the training hall is down? Is that like in the basement?
Yes.
Or is that okay?
he would like to cast invisibility at level 3, touching both himself and Tab.
Delightful.
Okay. As you cast invisibility, we're going to cut back to the group.
Fabulous.
As Mistress of the Arcane Vestarovna is announced.
That catches my attention immediately, and I look over to the entrance hall.
Mm-hmm. A stately elven woman enters, kind of looks annoyed, and makes a beeline for this table here.
Seeing that she's annoyed, can I make an insight check to see if I can divine what her annoyance stems from?
Sure.
26.
26. She does not seem to care for parties.
Okay. I'm going to sidle up a little bit closer toward Toriel, reach over to grab an hors d'oeuvre, and glancing at the two women, somewhat blithely. This is some party, huh?
Toriel kind of smiles blithely. It's fine. The Marquis did an excellent job. As Vess kind of harumphs a little bit. I could be working. And she takes a glass of wine from one of the waiters moving around, taking a sip.
At least there's free food and free drink.
True.
There must be some work if it's more interesting than this, though.
All work is more interesting than this.
Oof!
especially considering what he did to this palace.
Ah, this place has history.
Half of which he burned. And she snorts into the glass.
Macklin kind of looks about looking for scorch marks. See how well we clean up after.
Roll investigation.
Sure. That's me at 28.
28. Every little bit you see like the hint of something that could not get, a stain that could not come out of the wall. Stone doesn't generally burn, but some things, some stains, are more than just stains. They're, I don't know, what would you call
Now
it?
that you mentioned it, the place looks a bit like a kiln.
She nods a little bit.
Did I happen to catch, like, the end of the conversation that Jocelyn was picking up earlier?
Sure, it's just about the complications of traveling up to, up north to Islecross. The length of the journey, how annoying it is, the lack of amenities.
So, planning to travel to Islecross or coming back from?
I'm generally to and from.
I imagine those earthquakes are going to make it a bit harder to get there nowadays. But with all of these things happening closer and closer to Ascension Day.
You're not wrong. Of course, travel in Islecross is always tricky, given the unstable nature of the ground. I'm not looking forward to the lava river, though, if it's overflowing its banks.
He raises his brows and nods.
Also, Dampkan can occasionally erupt. And she kind of sighs heavily. Ascension Day is a common holiday. It's a celebration of the Raven Queen.
But isn't typically connected to earthquakes, right?
No,
That would be unusual.
not since the first one.
Quite cool.
But such is the price we pay for knowledge. If it was easy, everyone would know it.
Yes, the pursuit of knowledge, a worthy endeavor. And he's going to reach out his hand and Count Macklin O'Malley. We had wanted to get in touch earlier today, but we were pulled away from the academy.
Yes, I remember. There's something about an emergency with one of Trent's students. And she takes your hands and gives it a firm shake.
The return shake is firm, and he nods a bit. Yes, young Tybalt was feeling a bit under the weather, it seemed.
Not unusual for his students.
So it would seem. A great many rumors surrounding that.
I doubt there's much truth to them.
Oh, insight check.
Sure.
See how doubtful she is. 32.
Fairly doubtful. She doesn't seem to put much weight behind them. She seems
Oh,
flippant.
interesting. He nods and he kind of eases back and shifts his attention a little bit back toward Toriel. Really peculiar timing with that earthquake yesterday.
Is it?
I don't want the conversation lining up the way it did. I was curious. You seem to have a foot in the door as far as the arcane goes, and perhaps with the natural, or at least the philosophical. What your take on all that was?
Toriel smiles a little bit and kind of waves her hand. Well, I might perhaps be another ascension. Unlikely. Or it's just an earthquake.
Yeah, no, he's going to pluck another order from the table. I've had a few bugs in my ear about some speculation here or there. But it seems like the running theory is that, well, crazy as it might sound, that the world is reacting to some kind of accommodation, accumulation of power. I don't think you're off the mark with the ascension idea.
Well, I imagine things weren't much different when the Raven Queen ascended herself, so...
Oh, interesting. I actually don't know much about that story.
Oh. Well, it's quite simple. She was a mortal elven woman. She married the god of death, and then she killed him and took his spot, ascending herself.
And so while asking Toriel about this, I want to keep an eye out on Bess and see if she is reacting to how the story is being told, whether or not she has any visible tells that maybe she knows more, or if this is a conversation that's even remotely interesting to her based on her background.
Roll an insight check.
Sure. 28.
She seems to be interested, but not like caring.
Interested but not engaged.
Yeah. You've been told
Academically interested?
No, not even that. You've been told several times that this isn't her area of study.
It's antiquities, right?
It's antiquities, yes, but her area of study is something completely different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought she was the one who knew about Tharamfala.
She took over for the person who knew about Tharamfala.
So that's not really her bread and butter. She just kind of picked it up, or I'm not exactly following.
Okay, so you all kind of made this assumption that because she took over for Delilah Briarwood, they had the same area of study. But it's like being the head of the English department and talking to and one person is a Russian lit professor and one is a Shakespearean studies professor. Like, just because they both study English.
We just read it.
Yeah.
Misread. Okay.
Yeah. Because they both study English doesn't mean that, like, yeah, that one's gonna know a lot about Tolstoy.
Okay.
You gotta pick the right one.
All right. Well, given that case, yeah, I'm just gonna fall back to small talk and let someone else take this. In fact, that one's just gonna politely excuse himself and start mingling elsewhere.
Okay. Are Jowsen still making small talk with the Marquis? Or are you doing something else, talking to someone else?
I'm thinking that after watching Macklin chat and disengage, I'm going to politely excuse myself and tell the Marquis that I'm going to mingle for a bit.
He, waves you off with a, of course, of course.
I'm going to head up and kind of head over to Macklin. And I am going to quietly speak up as I walk by him and kind of move slowly, languidly across the floor. Find anything of interest yet?
Absolutely nothing.
I have to agree, everyone's quite boring here, actually.
I don't think Les suspects anything of Hickathon. In fact, it seems she doesn't put any faith into the rumors about his protege. No ally there.
She may simply not care very much about what her professional rival does.
Possibly. It seems she'd rather be anywhere else but here. Toriel is hard-read as ever. I think she understands what's happening with the world, at least. She knew more than she let on about the earthquake yesterday. She brought up the Ascension. I think she knows what's happening.
That would be considerably interesting, considering how little the general populace over here knows.
Well, elves, long lives. They see both sides of the story from the beginning to the end. Mentioned that it was similar to how the Raven Queen ascended.
If I recall correctly, she had very little interest in most affairs outside of her little sphere.
I think ancient history is her sphere. And likely survival as well. I doubt she would know where anything is here, however.
I also can't help but notice that we're missing a few people.
We are. Hopefully they haven't better luck than we are.
The night is young. And I'm going to head over in the direction of the man who cared about the welfare of the farms. I gotta check my notes for his name.
Galador? Melith?
Yeah, Galadar.
Yep, Nalith.
Melith.
So several people at his table are laughing and kind of drinking wine. There are several empty glasses at the table. This seems to be the fun table, as you might assume. As you approach, he stands. Several people at the table also stand, and he kind of inclines his head. Your Grace.
Master Galadar, it is nice to see you again.
You as well. Have you had the drink? And he kind of starts motioning for a servant to come by.
I have not, but am I right in guessing that you might have some hand in supplying this evening's refreshments?
I have my hand in all sorts of things. And he kind of makes sure that you get he looks over the glasses of wine, because there's several available in different groups, and he picks one specifically and hands it to you.
Then I look forward to tonight's refreshments with eager taste. I just take a sip.
Sure. It's got a kind of, it tastes like a raspberry sour candy. So it's a little tart, but at the end there's a very sweet note.
This is rather interesting.
Raspberry wine from our farms. They are a specialty in Zemnia. I will give you a couple of bottles to take home. I'm sure your sovereign would like some. Reminder of home, I am assuming.
That would be greatly appreciated. I think she would dearly enjoy a reminder of where her family hails from. Particularly if it's as tasty as this.
Well, thank you. Sorry, Macklin asked me deep lore question. I have to go look it up.
Go for it. Deep lore deserves attention.
I think it began with a D, sorry.
You can consider Cure making idle inquiries into the refreshments and his farms.
Mm-hmm. He is happy to tell you. It's Cyphus.
Cyphus. Thanks.
At least that's what he's known by now.
I'm also going to try and just kind of gauge the engagement with those around us to see. This seems like the fun table. My initial impression was that they might all know each other and kind of hang out at these kind of events. So I'm seeing how engaged they are with Galadar's explanations to me.
Sure. You notice this group seems a little younger than Galadar. Ignore the tokens. They're just to represent that people are in fact sitting at that table. But Galadar's table seems to have a younger crowd. Was it Cyphus? Now I'm second guessing myself.
It is. I found it.
Okay. It's like I don't think I changed it. Anyway. You find that this is a younger crowd, and a lot of people aren't calling him by his title. They're calling him, Papa Nalith.
Interesting. I'm going to let myself, or force myself to kind of relax visibly, flash a few more easy smiles in their company.
Yeah. Yeah, you notice this crowd is young, almost a little younger than you. Like, you would be on the edge of too old for this group. You're almost too grown up. Yeah, he's 40-something. Yeah, these kids are calling him Papa Nalith and teasing him mercilessly about how much he loves his farm and why he's off his farm. After a bit, you get the feeling that maybe he's not the one that usually comes to these things. And he has mentioned before that his daughter is usually the one that comes to these events.
Am I getting the sense that these are his kids?
These aren't his kids, but maybe his kids' friends.
Gotcha.
And he has been known to be he's the sort of person who takes care of the people around him. You know, oh, you need help, go to Papa Nalith. Oh, your dad's being a dick, go to Papa Nalith. He'll take care of it. He's somewhere between a fixer and just the neighborhood dad. It's just the neighborhood is much more posh.
Interesting.
But the table is quickly becoming full of wine glasses as the music starts to pick up and people start dancing. We'll see. If it would let me move people, roll 20. Thank you. So we go here and why not? Soon Lily's table is empty as everyone goes to the dance floor. He smiles and shakes his head. I heard a rumor that you had children.
I do. Far too young for functions such as these, although Alina's of an age where I expect she would be brought to such things to gain some experience.
That is the most difficult part, when they can't take care of themselves quite yet.
Particularly when they are confident that they can.
I know all about that one.
I do seem to recall you mentioning that your daughter was normally the one that attended such functions as these.
She had to stay at the farm. Unfortunately, she's not quite well.
I'm sorry to hear that. Nothing serious, I assume?
Kind of tilts his head back and forth, like looks left to right, realizes the table is empty. Only the most serious thing, but we'll be happy to celebrate the birth of the newest Nelith soon.
Ah, congratulations, Papa Nelith.
Papa Nelith it is. I had not expected to be a grandfather so soon, and she was hesitant to tell me, but I am more of the old school in that manner. Do you know a lot about Rexentrum traditions?
I can't say that I do. I've lived a life that seems defined by my displacement among all the places I grew up in.
Well, I heard that your sovereign was a fan of the old ways, so...
She is. She does care deeply for... And I consider my words as I kind of look out across the group. She cares deeply for her people. Not just the ones she is empress over, but the people she comes from as well.
Mixed bags, that lot.
Oh?
Some were strong and some were weak. Some were both. Anyway, Rexons from back in the days did not care very much about children out of wedlock. Not like they do today.
I suspect it is a viewpoint born of King Dwendal, then?
It is. He cares a lot about... I mean, so, as you probably are aware, the Rexentrum line was matrilineal. No one gave a rat's ass who the father was. I believe it was Queen Ilsa herself that said no one gives a fuck about the father. You never can confirm a father, you can only confirm a mother.
I snort at that.
But Dwendal cares more about paternity and stricter rules. The man is the provider and all that nonsense.
Of course. I consider that a little bit with my head cocked to one side.
Me, I'm a farmer. I had the short spurts there where I was an adventurer, but mostly, I am a farmer. The way I see it, if you say a kid is yours, they are yours. That is that.
You say you spent some time as an adventurer.
That's how I became Lord Nilith. He kind of scratches. He puts a finger in his ear and like itches the inside of his ear. Kind of rubs it on his shirt and then takes another sip of wine.
Honestly, I can relate. I kind of pointedly rest my hand on my sword.
Yeah, he's like motions to his sword with like a yeah. I had heard rumors, of course. Of course, you have to look in this country a little bit deeper since the rumors, and finds the truth underneath all of the news.
I find that requirement to be distressingly common over here. And the interest within most of the people to engage with such things to be distressingly scarce.
Well, I'm sure some of that is by design.
I am most certainly sure that it is.
After all, the Sovereign would not want the Empire invading.
I kind of press my lips a little bit and continue gazing out across the ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
I find matters of such political import as that to be somewhat more complex than I am capable of dealing with. My mind tends to be drawn towards the larger threat and focus on disposing of that before turning my attention to what remains. The fact that such things are so easily dismissed by those with... I kind of gesture vaguely around me at the house. I find it simply a mentality I cannot quite grasp.
You and I are the same. Undead crawling across a continent is nothing to take lightly. And you hear his voice go serious.
From everything I've heard, that's not exactly the kind of rumor one comes across easily here.
It's... well... it is the job of some of us to know such things. I believe you traveled with Felion for a little bit, if my stories are correct.
That surprises me as I blink and kind of look over at him. You surprise me. Of all the names I expected to hear here, his was not one of them.
He is a well-known adventurer. Is he a hunter of undead? A man
I've had the
who-
pleasure of fighting alongside him for some time.
A man who sacrifices his own vitality to bring down dark monsters.
Laying down one's life in the most literal of terms.
Indeed. Roll a perception check.
Persuasion?
Perception.
Perception. Decent rolls for perception for Cure tonight.
Sure. As he lifts his glass, you look at his hand almost instinctively with him name-dropping Felion, and you see the deep scar going across the middle of his palm. And the kind of almost more aged than seems to match his body hand.
Kind of arch my brow at him and... Can I get an insight check to try and connect the dots?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. You get the feeling he is a blood hunter. And probably does magic similar to what Felion used to do.
Excellent. I nod slowly. I find it to be a universal truth that one cannot really comprehend the true evils of the world until one faces them with one's own eyes. As a result, most of the people in these cities, casual glance towards Trent, busy themselves with searching out monsters of their own devising rather than focusing on the ones that actually exist.
I think your Slayer would say that there can be many threats at one time.
Very true.
You can worry about both the drought and the locusts.
But one cannot forget the sense of scale within the threats that one faces. Which is more dangerous to your crops? The handful of aphids you catch on one plant, or the swarm of locusts in the next county? Both are dangerous, to be sure. But which should you spend your time and effort disposing of?
I think it would depend. She drops the analogy. He kind of frowns deeply. Your sovereign was correct to try and downplay what is going on in Taldori. It is why I did not interfere.
I nod slightly. It admittedly is a decision I am not certain I fully comprehend. It certainly keeps the wolves at bay, but it also forces us to contend with our enemies in isolation.
True. She must have thought that perhaps she did not need our help. Perhaps she had enough allies. And perhaps would take care of the problem. Had faith is that someone would take care of the problem before it became a concern. Well, not before it became a concern. Before reaching out to the Empire for help was necessary.
I like to think of myself as a woman of faith, I say with a slight smirk as I kind of tilt my mask in his direction. But that's never kept me from acting when I had to act. Faith can only carry us so far. Don't get me wrong, I stand behind my wife's decisions. Our spheres of influence overlaps, but they are not completely... they do not completely overlap with one another. We proceed the same ends from different means.
He nods.
The differences keep things interesting.
I would assume.
If sometimes frustrating, but
A paladin married to a woman who made an oath with the devil probably would be interesting.
again with that oath with the devil. That's the second time you've brought that up. What do you know about it exactly?
About the crown of fire?
Yes.
It signifies a pact.
With the devil, apparently.
With the devil. A demon of punishment and justice. Not unlike your mistress, who would punish those who would try and escape their fate. Trickier, though. More dangerous.
I missed that last part.
Tricky more, though. More dangerous.
I nod slowly and turn to regard the ballroom again. Fascinating how one can use faith to justify grand actions and show a questionable lack of it in others. Like I said, such things are complex.
They always are. They always are.
I like you, Galadar. I think I prefer your company this evening over the Marquise.
The Marquis is in a mood. His date stood him up.
Oh, that poor man.
Which one?
I
Nearly just smirks into his cup of wine.
I'll pick up another glass of wine. Well, look at us, the farmer and the soldier, spending our evening among such prestigious company.
He kind of raises his glass. To adventurers who find themselves too far up the food chain altogether.
To adventurers who married well. Clink.
Clink. Tab and V.
Hi.
Y'all are fucking
Yes.
invisible.
We're fucking invisible. We're going upstairs.
Going up the stairs. Alright.
We'll move ourselves. I think I know which staircase it is. Yeah, perfect. We are, so V would have to had to have touched us to cast invisibility, and we'll like grab his sleeve at that point, because we don't want to lose him now that we're invisible, and we don't want him to lose us. So if you will allow it, we're not like towing him along.
Yeah,
but
just
we will,
keeping track of each other.
Yeah, keep him close. And I guess we'll listen at this door.
This one?
Yeah.
It is quiet.
Okay, well, and actually, let me ask here: do you want me to say I want to check for traps at every single door, or can we roll on like a passive investigation?
We're gonna roll on a
situation?
passive investigation.
Okay, cool. Do you want me to roll one check, or do you have that already figured out for yourself?
What's your passive perception?
Oh, our passive perception is 10. Our investigation is plus 16.
Alright, so your passive investigation is 26. So we're just gonna roll with that.
Okay, cool. Alright, then we will peek into this room.
Okay. You find a very beautiful sitting room. The set of chairs, a small table, a little sidebar, fireplace.
And can we see into the back, or is the door closed?
You can see into the back. It's open enough. It's just a bedroom.
Okay. Does this look like an Archmage's bedroom to you?
I don't. Honestly, I don't know enough to tell, but I would think his would be a rather more done up.
That's what we think too. We'll keep looking, and we'll remember to come back. Where to come back to if we run out of places to look. I think we're just gonna kind of grid it out. So we'll peek our head in here.
Okay. In there is a long hallway. Several paintings on the wall. It appears to be some sort of gallery.
Are these the old paintings from from before Trent redecorated, or are these paintings that he's clearly redecorated with?
These are clearly new. The poet's noise of disgust lets you know that they are in fact clearly new.
Guessing that he is. We'll find your paintings. It's all right. That's not what we're looking for, but maybe we'll find them anyway. Peeks in here. That looks like a kitchen or something.
Yeah, it's a smaller kitchen.
Okay. Unless he is yelling about secret doors, we'll keep going.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes to it first, like a dining hall.
Large formal dining hall. Yes, with several seats.
Is the table set, or does it look like it's not?
It's empty
does it look
at the moment.
Okay. And then to the south,
Library.
well, we have to look in here.
Obviously, where else would you hide a book? I mean, unless it's your bedside table. And
We're walking in and like we're looking around, and as we're looking around, and we're also, but we're not here to look for just any books. We're here to look for that book. So you can't take the other books. You could look at them, maybe a little bit, just to make sure that they're not that one. And we would like to see what we can find in this room that looks like a
Sure.
journal or otherwise looks very interesting.
Roll an investigation
or
check.
hollow books, because B would think of that.
Oh,
Okay.
that does look like a thing you would think of. Very good.
Roll an investigation check.
Do you want to roll and I'll help, or vice versa?
So mine is a nat 1, so I think we should roll your own.
Valid reasoning.
So that's a 17, but it's actually a 1.
16.
Yeah, you guys don't find anything in here.
I would have thought an Archmage would have a more interesting library.
Maybe it's not the big one. Feeds peering at the titles, extrapolating the size of this building. There may be multiple libraries.
That's a very good point. We'll keep going. And we do.
Mm-hmm. The poet helpfully tells you that this is a bathroom and probably is not changed.
You're very helpful, thank you. Tell us if there's anything you'd like us to look harder at. Oh, we've got this room up here. We almost forgot it completely. Oh, this is like a little sitting area out in the hall outside. Okay, cool. We will poke our head into this room.
It appears to be another sitting room.
Are there bookshelves in this sitting room?
There's a bookshelf, yeah.
I would like to check the bookshelf.
Alright, roll investigation.
Good grief, the investigation rolls are terrible tonight. 15.
Nothing interesting. It's all basic stuff.
Guest quarters.
We might have to dive into the fountain after all. Or we could check the other wing. We suppose we'll check the other wing. Oh, here's a fountain. I wonder if this one also has a secret door.
How do you know this stuff?
We don't know it, but the poet does.
This one also does have a secret door. It leads down to the other fountain.
We thought we were kidding.
And you weren't?
We weren't. This one also, it goes to the other one. And then the other one goes down to a training room. Did the poet actually live here, or the poet was just a
poet lived here for several
time here.
He lived here for several months of the season.
Okay. And are these are like little end tables, not like desks or something that we should toss? Okay.
Little end tables and sitting areas.
B is still keeping his eyes peeled for a journal that may have been left in the chaos.
Roll another investigation check. Let's see if you get lucky.
Oh, very consistent.
Nope, nada.
I may have to get a real dice. I think roll 20 is just stuck here.
And these are staircases down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't think he would have just left it out. That would be very careless.
Yes, but he's been kind of busy, so it can happen.
As you go, look. Oh. This is a door.
Okay.
And it's locked.
Oh. That one's locked. That seems like a good sign.
Ask the poet if there's a secret way in.
Tom, what do you think?
Lockpicks.
Tom says the secret is picking lock. So we'll do that. We'll try to attempt to do that.
We will assist.
How do you assist with the lockpick? I'm
coaching. That'll be
coaching, listening to it, whatever.
And lockpicks are proficiency plus dex.
Yes.
For the tools. Okay. 23.
23? Yeah. It's difficult and touch and go there for a minute, but you do get it unlocked.
And we tell Tom that if he would be a little bit less cranky about the reader recreation, we could probably focus better on the picking locks. And we will peek in.
Yeah, it's a long hallway. Seems to be some sort of painting here of a beautiful underwater scene. These are all candles and bookshelves.
Okay. And is this like a symbol on the floor? I mean, we're moving into the room.
You have to get closer to be able to tell.
Okay. Why don't you look at the bookshelves and we'll see if there's anything on the corner.
Okay, just don't step on the symbol.
We were just thinking that. Thank you for the reminder. and we will stand 10 feet back from the symbol
Mhm.
to make sure that we don't accidentally smudge it with our toes, because we definitely, Hannah can see where the line is, and Tab is concerned that if they're standing in the space, then they're going to smudge with their toes, because they know themselves they're going to fidget and forget and step on it. And we'll try to figure out if they can tell what the symbol is.
It appears to be an arcane sigil.
Can we trade with you, and you figure out what this magic is, and we'll look at the bookshelves?
Are you sure that it's just not going to be like on the tables?
I think there's tables around the corner. And this is a statue
Yes.
of anyone, like, in particular?
No one you recognize.
Okay. It's not like religious iconic, whatever that word is. Iconic.
It's not really. No, it just seems to be.
Not visible. Okay.
It just seems to be some sort of angel's figure.
Okay. Can we hop, skip around the corner without stepping on the symbol?
Yeah, with your base deck, sure.
Cool. And there's tables and things and more bookshelves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what would you like me to start checking these bookshelves? Because Tab is getting very far ahead.
Investigation.
Yes, but just like keep clicking for however many shelves there are, or
Just roll one more.
worst one so far. That's a 12.
Yeah, you're not really finding anything.
And then we would like to investigationate the bookshelves in this half of the room and the tables.
Okay, sure.
Well, that's not great. 26.
You find a book that is empty. It's just a case. It's actually holding something.
Oh, like a hollow book?
Yeah.
Like,
It has a stone in it.
with a stone in it. What kind of stone?
A deep blue stone.
We would like to hop, skip back across the symbol. And I think at this point we land facing, if he's going to step back, then we will take the step forward away from it. And we'd like to confer with V and see if we can figure out what kind of stone this is or what symbology it might be.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, this should be fun. 16!
There's an empty space in the angel statue.
We look at the stone, and we look at the statue, and we look at V, and we look at the stone. We should probably tell the others where we put a stone into a statue in an Archmage's house, shouldn't we? That would be right.
Probably.
That would be the thing to do.
Just, yes, we should. Just in case we vanish into a separate plane, they at least know, oh, this is what silly thing we did this time.
We're trying very hard to be good. Can we, before we do that, can we scurry back and try to relock the door? Just in case anyone comes, or do we get, is that something we can do? Like, can we just, is there a deadbolt that we can just throw, or we have to try again without
No, you can lock the door on your way out.
Okay. We don't want to leave yet. We just want to lock it so that no one can walk in on us without, immediately, without us hearing them coming.
Yeah.
Okay, we lock the door, and then we'll hustle V around the corner, out of sight of the door, and raise our bracelet to our mouth. We found something.
Malcolm's gonna step aside and kind of scratch the side of his head and use the communicator quietly. Was it the book?
Not yet. The hollow book with the stone in it, and the stone looks like it goes to the statue. There's an angel statue with a space in it, and also it's behind a locked door, and there are lots of books, and there's a symbol on the floor. We don't know what it means, but V says it's magic. Well, we don't know if it's magic, but it's a magical symbol. It may or may not be magic itself. And we thought we should tell you before we put the stone into the statue and saw what happened.
Nice. Can we inspect the magic and try to deduce a meaning from it, or perhaps cast detect magic to give us an idea of what to expect?
Still over the bracelet. V, can you cast detect magic to see what the stone is, or see what the statue is, or see what the symbol is?
All right, let's try detect magic on the symbol first, I guess. He's going to step back.
Okay. It appears to be some sort of transportation magic.
And it's transportation magic again. Of course it is. It's on the floor.
Short range.
Short range, though, so probably not to another plane this time.
It depends on what the plane is. Is the stone the same? I can't remember. Does the text magic, it gets you stuff in an area, or does it get you...
Within your line of sight, within 30 feet.
We'll hold the stone up into V's line of sight.
If an object bears magic, and it's school of magic if it has one.
The stone is just some sort of trigger. When combined with the statue, it activates the sigil on the floor.
It looks like it's maybe teleportation or something. It looks like if we put the stone on the statue, then the symbol on the floor will activate and we'll go somewhere.
Do you want to go somewhere?
We won't know until we get there.
Well, Tab, you're the one they send out when we don't have a plan.
If we don't come back, there's a secret door in the fountain.
We haven't got there yet.
Got it.
Is anyone else having any feelings about or expressing any feelings?
Cure, you get a couple polite thumps on the back by Papa Nalith, who has at least had enough to forget that you're not both adventurers in a tavern.
Appreciate it.
Is everything alright?
Perfectly fine.
Just tell him you had a terrible premonition.
Right. I'm going to leave because this looks like some adventurer's bullshit.
I beg your pardon?
She knows the look.
I have no idea what you mean.
I'm sure you don't. He just stands up. Aggressively coughs into his sleeve like he's having a coughing fit, waves off a servant, and then starts heading to the door. As he passes you by, he just says, "Good luck, whatever it is." And heads the fuck out. He is not dealing with that tonight. He is about to be a grandfather.
Nope.
He knows when to leave a party. He is retired, goddammit. That is true.
Would that we all had such options. I'm gonna look across the floor and see if I can find Josen to see what he's doing.
Josen was actually following Macklin around, to be honest with you. After you kind of split off from Macklin and him.
He was doing what?
Following Macklin around.
Alright. Yeah, Macklin's not being stealthy. He's out. He's just away from people-ish.
Josen's just observing and following right now until told to do otherwise.
Cure scowls a little bit.
He's following orders.
V would like to creep around the sigil on the floor without touching it to get to the angel statue and
Okay.
inspect a little bit more.
It appears to be an angel.
Yes, we would like to cast Identify.
Okay. It is an angel statue that activates the sigil on the floor.
All right, I guess we're going through.
Once we're over the bracelet, we will say, "All right, we're ready unless anyone wants to come with us."
Do we just disappear and leave Yor here by themselves, Macklin?
I've still got a little bit of unfinished business with this. I think I have a different angle to approach it from. And it might be a little more interesting, I think. Hopefully. Oh,
Someone undressed him?
what?
I swear
Right, that's
you
it.
just...
Come on, Tab, we're going.
At the same, B says at the same time, the Tab says, "Jocelyn, are you bored? Do you want to come with us?"
I'm not really stealthy, Tab. Shall I go with them to make... Or should I stay with you to make sure you don't get into trouble? Or do I stay with Cure to make sure Cure doesn't get in trouble? What do you want me to do? What do I do, Macklin?
I don't think you're will get you in trouble.
Do we have any sense of whether we could help Jazen be a little sneakier than he used? Like, could we provide the help action without tanking our own stealth?
No.
Got some chalk.
You guys have tools at your disposal to help with such things.
You gonna put chalk on my boot in the middle of a party, Macklin?
I mean, I could go down and tie your boot for you. I mean, it is quite loose. Look how loose your boot is, Jocelyn. Hold on. Stand
that,
still
Macklin.
for just a moment.
Do that. You're very clever.
I would very cleverly go down and tie Jocelyn's boot.
Stand very
Yes,
still, Jazen.
chalk.
Don't make it smudge. We'll continue providing lots of advice on how to do this chalking that we cannot see happening.
B is resigned to his fate, gets bored, and starts investigating more bookshelves.
Okay. Roll an investigation check. Okay.
13.
Nothing of note.
I'm going to start circling along the edges of the ballroom with a drink in hand, just being visible and moving and listening over the earring.
What does the chalk do, anyways? Does that give me plus
So-
3?
+3 to your stealth checks.
Okay,
And
I just want to point out, I lied. I'm actually rather stealthy. I forget I'm not a cleric anymore.
Fabulous. Well, now you're even stealthier.
Yeah, I'm even stealthier now. I might even compete with Tab once.
Wow. We'll see.
Darn it, I'm going to be the obvious one I don't approve.
I mean, we're also invisible, so there's that.
Well, you're also...
Well, yes, that helps.
can't compete with that.
We will also give Jazen directions on how to catch up with us.
Okay. Jazen, roll a stealth check.
Oh boy. Fantastic.
Watch
That's a
it, watch
19.
Watch him not get out of the ballroom.
I mean, the doors aren't guarded.
That's good.
I'm moving you over to where you're supposed to be.
So, yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
sorry.
Okay,
Nope,
stop.
sorry. Stop.
You end up in front of these doors because the doors are locked.
Did we lock those doors, Tab?
Do we hear him rattling the knob?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
We'll-
quite loudly.
We will scurry over, unlock the door.
He's mumbling to himself, where's the damn...
We're right here.
bathroom?
We're
What's
invisible, but that doesn't make a difference to you. Come on in.
it? Oh. Just, we'll move forward. Listening for footsteps.
We will.
B will intentionally make footsteps so that he can walk up to Jaws and put a hand on his shoulder and turn him invisible.
Delightful. So now we have. Oh, you be casting?
Yeah, you have to
Oh.
recast. in
Yeah,
order-
I'd have to cast again.
We're all now invisible?
So that would be another higher spell slot.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a level 4 spell slot to do
Okay.
this with.
Sorry,
I can
I'm
only-
fine. Not a big deal. It's not like you're asking a blind man to stealth around, no biggie.
We believe in you.
Well, you seem
Okay.
very successful.
Lock the door again, please.
Jocelyn will turn around and lock the door.
Okay.
And then we will go holding on to V's. So it sounds like we have V's sleeve and V has Jocelyn's shoulder. We will go continue to tiptoe around the outside. Pop the stone.
We're
into
using it. We want to be in this.
We know, but we don't want to step on. Like we. Oh, you think we need to be on it when we activate it? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll step on it then. We were thinking that we would activate it and then step in, but that's fine too. V knows best. Yeah, we'll pop the stone into the statue.
Okay.
I feel so bad for Jocelyn right now.
I mean,
It's fine. Justin's fine.
don't worry. Hold on. I just gotta move some stuff around. So
This
you're
could have
on
been
this
the best.
map.
Blind teleport into.
I'm
just
sure we
thought
won't.
that.
I'm
You're
sure we
on
won't
this
need our
map.
paladin when we meet. Whatever. Are those robot sharks?
And with
Except
that
for-
exclamation point, we're gonna call it for tonight.
Robot sharks.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Oh my
Except they're
God,
actually
Trent
robotic.
Ickathon is a Bond villain.
Oh, I'm so delighted. Is that a organ? A coral
It
organ?
looks like one. I think we found Davy Jones' locker.
Oh, I'm freaking out. I love this so much. Are we actually underwater? We don't need to breathe. We don't care. You guys probably care.
I care.
We don't care.
Woof.
Are we actually underwater?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
So-
I was
fine.
like, look at these rogues. They would not be able to roll an investigation check lower than 20. They're gonna find all of the crystals.
Nope,
And
not
they,
tonight.
there were no guards or any servants that they saw in the halls when they were sneaking around? Or?
There were a couple, but not like they didn't bother them.
We didn't walk
Also,
into
look at
anyone,
their
they didn't
stealth
hear us.
with their
Good.
stealth checks. Where's V?
Yeah, it's not. It's like Tab's minimum investigation roll is a 28, except when they roll a 1.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have.
So that's fine.
And I'll get the map fixed by next week.
Oh, I love it though. It's so beautiful and horrifying.
Good heavens.
We are underwater.
You
You
are.
got this.
I mean, you can teleport out, right? Like, you got your spell slots back. You won't need those for anything else.
Well, if it requires a verbal component,
I don't think teleport does.
And that would actually be a DM rule. I feel like I've read at least some interpretations that you can talk underwater.
It's totally
It just
verbal.
you burns through your air.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a question for how the DM would rule. Like, can you cast both a verbal component at the cost of oxygen, or
Jeremy Crawford. No rule prohibits verbal components from working underwater. Keep in mind that if you're talking, you're not holding your breath. Straight from J. Craw.
So, robot
Sorry.
sharks.
amazing?
Robot
And we can see the sharks, I assume, since they're on the map and very large.
Yeah, those are
I know-
just
I know
scale.
I'm just trying to think, but okay. And we probably don't know if they want to eat us yet. I'm assuming they want to eat us. Delightful. I feel like I had another logistics question, but I can't remember what it was. So I guess I'll just wait until I remember it at some point, and then delightful.
I'd like to point out we're underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not fine. It's not at all fine. It's fine for us. It's not fine for
That,
the two of
that
you.
was a choice y'all decided to make.
Let me point out. Well, I guess the good thing is that you can still hear underwater.
Glad we didn't go to the go into the fountain because we didn't want to get wet yet.
You know what would be horrible?
Oh no, where'd I go?
I'm putting the grid back on just for
Okay.
my own sanity because gridless fighting is not going to happen with me.
Sure. I wonder how we get back. Well, at least Macklin knows
We
about the
win,
other
play
secret
the
door.
certain combo keys on the organ, something insane, I'm
that,
sure.
that would be the genre savvy answer, yes.
We're
Yeah.
underwater.
Yeah. I hope you guys have good con scores. I definitely
No.
planned.
Maybe not us.
I definitely planned for you all to split the party. Certainly did that. Huh. So,
I
Cool.
think Macklin's got the underwater breathing potion.
yeah, Macklin has that, doesn't he? Macklin, who is upstairs.
It's fine.
Jor, do you have
I mean,
any
everybody would
underwater
have
breathing potion?
everybody would have heard the directions to Jazen, so you all would know where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the teleport stone, so that's kind of a problem.
Yep.
Unless there's more of those around.
I have no way
Don't we
of
also
breathing
have that
underwater
stupid
and no way to
amulet
sneak
tab?
around.
I have in my notes that you've got it.
The amulet of
You know, the
plane
amulet of
shift?
doom.
Sure, if you
Yeah.
want to shift to a different plane.
I think we gave that back to you.
It's preferable to drowning?
You won't drown
Yeah,
you won't drown immediately.
Yeah, it's what? It's 1 minute plus con?
It's 1 minute per con.
1 minute per con, okay. And so we don't need to breathe, so we are
fine.
we are all set. But the rest of you two are not all set.
I can breathe for 5 minutes.
That's forever.
You can hold your breath for 5 minutes. Or you can cast 3 spells and hold your breath for 2 minutes. Or
That's a pretty good deal, honestly.
That's only if they use verbal components.
only if these verbal components, that's correct.
Or I could just teleport us the fuck out of here. I mean, honestly, I can just do that.
You could.
Yeah. I mean, we have a wish left that we could also use to go someplace if we like we would prefer not to for so many reasons, but like we've got options. V has the amulet of plane shift. We did give that back to you.
I can do that too.
Just tear open the sharks and steal their air.
See, I like doing
The
that.
thing is, Rob, they would have been regular sharks, but then you told me how I can make robot sharks, so now they're robot sharks, as requested
Hell yeah.
originally. So
Fabulous.
Now, how
Listen,
is that gonna
Liam had
work?
requests, you know? You can't let Liam down.
Yeah.
They gotta
You
do
just
robot
I
sharks.
said, Liam, what am I throwing at the players tonight? And he went, sharks. And I went, okay.
I love him.
And then he went, robots. I went, robot sharks? And he went, yeah.
Now you see, if I really did want to fuck the party over, if I really was being malicious about it, I'd say, hey, DM, wouldn't it be funny if Ikathon casted Forbiddance on this chamber?
That would be
Yeah.
funny, but he didn't.
It prevents teleportation.
I'm enjoying that we found it. You didn't think you could kill us, and we found the way you could kill us. It's for us to be real dumb, and you'd have created an environmental puzzle, and I love it.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's fine. You guys are going to be fine.
I would just. Oh, sorry. Go. Oh, interesting. I guess then we'd be in an ice cube in water.
That's shape water does.
Well, I'm just wondering, because, I mean, for a 60-foot cone, I could freeze the fucking water.
I mean, it would freeze, but it's still around you. It doesn't make air happen.
Well, no, but it prevents things from moving through it.
That's true. Unless you anchor it to something, though, it'll just float up.
Well, yeah, so I'll just, make an ice cube and float up with it.
I wonder. Do you think there's an up, or do you think this chamber is full of water?
Fuck if I know, but I mean...
You'll find out. Can we see? Is there
That's-
light above us? Can we tell if this has
The
a?
chamber is lit, but it does not seem to be coming from above. But we'll go into that more next game as you guys realize you teleported into a room full of robot sharks.
Oh,
You mean a
I'm
death trap.
So excited.
Puzzle
Shark doo doo doo.
Remember when Tab said, "Does anybody else want to come with us?"
And everyone's like, "No, you got this." Yeah.
You almost killed the whole party. Now you're just killing more than half.
I mean,
Yeah,
less than
the
half,
magical
because we're not going to
half,
die. I mean, we
Yeah,
might die
you're
from the
not gonna
sharks.
die.
We might die for many reasons, but we're not going to die from not breathing. We might die for other reasons.
Well, the
Might
good
die from
news is-
sharks. But
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So
Yeah.
if y'all could help me kill some sharks before you die, that would be much
That,
appreciated.
yeah, we'll give it a shot. I just let you know, I already have established characters in the world, folks. So
I'm wondering who's gonna play this organ? Who's got performance skills other than our paladin, who's not here?
I do.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. You're a charisma based class. We can add a d6 if we have to. I'm sure nothing
Yeah, if you
bad
want to
happens
be
if you.
doing performance, it will be completely luck. It's all down to the dice.
I'm sure nothing bad happens if we play the organ badly, right?
7 Davy Jones.
Now
Forget Davy Jones, it'd be the fucking Kraken at this point.
Sam voted for the Kraken, but Liam did say robot sharks, so...
I mean, if it was a Kraken, I would 100% stay and fight it, but let's face it all. I'm probably going to teleport us out of here. That's what I do, right?
Sure.
Until Tab swims off and doesn't...
I mean, if you want to spend the
But you know
spell
exactly
slot...
where they are down here, Jocelyn. It's impossible for them to be silent.
How do you know the sharks aren't guarding the journal? This is
You're
how-
not here, Macklin.
This is how Ikathon
Shut
gets
up.
to bed. He teleports into the tank of sharks. He wrestles the sharks to keep his body sharp and his mind, strong body, strong mind. He
Yeah.
plays the organ to keep his fingers nice and limber, all while holding his breath, because he's an old man. He's got to push himself to the limit. That's what opens up the hallway of horrors that leads to his bedroom chamber. He just has to, run a gauntlet, jump over some pitfall traps, fight a banshee, and then he goes to bed while resting.
I'm pretty sure
As opposed to his bedroom being, in the locked part of the first floor.
Yeah,
I
I
checked.
think I know which room was probably the bedroom, his bedroom, but Tap doesn't know. But, I mean, I don't know what the journal. Tap still thinks the journal's in his pocket. But
I'm glad that you guys rushed
And if
immediately.
we survive, we'll find out that Tab was right.
We're underneath water.
Yeah.
there's got to
You
be
were at the
something
party.
good in here.
See,
There's obviously things good in here. There's 4 sharks and there's a coral organ. Like, what could be better? Both of those. There's 5 good things right there.
well,
I was...
being in his cabin in the woods would be a better place.
Yeah?
Yeah.